Hello, everyone. My name is Danielle Inbar. I'm a product manager here at Snyk.
Hi, and I'm Justin Cormack. I'm an engineer at Docker. Today, me and Danielle are going to be talking about securing containers directly from Docker Desktop. This is work that Snyk and Docker have been working on together, and we're really excited about it. Going through the agenda, we're going to start by talking about Docker and security and why this matters and why it's important for you. We're going to talk about scanning in Docker Desktop. Danielle's going to do a great demo of how it all works and how you can use it. Then she's going to talk more about using Snyk, and then we're going to talk about some extra things you can do with Docker Hub as well to make this whole experience even better and more fun. So Docker and security, why does this matter? Why does scanning matter? Why are we all here? So Docker really changed the way people build applications. We have 10 million users using Docker. They have 7 million repositories on Docker Hub, and there are hundreds of billions of pulls of images. But this has made things really, really easy, but it's also made security differences. It's meant that basically, because you're really in control of how your app works and how it gets delivered, you're actually really in charge of security for your app as well. You can't just say, oh, security is someone else's problem. In this kind of brand new world, you're really shipping stuff direct to production, and so you're in control of security, and you've got to take care about security now, which is kind of an additional responsibility. There's a phrase we use called shifting left. It's a kind of weird phrase, but you might have heard it. Shifting left is when you take things that used to be done in near production or by ops people, and you shift it to the developer's desktop, and you ask developers to do these things. It's a kind of weird phrase, but I don't know where it even came from. I don't know why your desktop's on the left and your production's on the right, but there you are. But this is a new challenge for a lot of developers. Developers are not really used to actually having to handle this kind of domain knowledge you need about security. A lot of developers don't manage production infrastructure and operating systems, and not really used to how that works. And containers are kind of different, even if you were used to that kind of old world. And then the other thing that's happened recently is the whole pace of security vulnerabilities in particular has really ramped up. We're all using so many pieces of open source software to build our products, which is great because it makes it really fast and easy, and we get great open source tooling we can use, but there's a lot of work you have to do to keep up to date. So, we're going to answer the question, like, how can developers overcome these shifts and make life not too much of a horrible pain? Another thing is that users of Docker want the best things. That's what they tell us. When we talk to users, they say, we don't want Docker to be this gigantic platform where you build everything. We want you to focus on developer tooling, which is really absolutely the focus of Docker now. And we want to use the best things in production, the best developer tools, the best CI, and we want to integrate these together using Docker and using containers and using Docker Hub and build a unified platform, but out of really great individual best-of-breed components. And so we've really started working on this strategy, particularly this year, and we've been doing a lot of work, for example, with Amazon and Microsoft on deployment of containers and development of containers on the cloud. But security scanning was a really high thing on the list of things people were asking for. On our roadmap, it was one of the things you all asked for early on when we launched the roadmap, and we started working on this several months ago, and we had to think about what we wanted to do for scanning and who the best scanning provider was for Docker users. So we looked through all the options for scanning, and why did we choose Snyk? Well, Snyk really was a totally standout choice for Docker because Snyk was really the company that was focusing very much, like we do, on developer experience. And that was incredibly important for us because a lot of scanning tooling was not really designed for individual developers to use. It wasn't really designed as a sort of desktop first experience. And our really strong requirements are that we wanted a desktop solution so that developers could examine scanning on the desktop and work out what was going on, do scans on the desktop, and basically see what the issues were before they even pushed their code. And then we also wanted a tool in Docker Hub so that teams could share scan results and that your manager could look at them and everything like that. And so we could basically have these two parts of the workflow: the bit where you're doing it on your own and the bit where you're sharing results with your team, and everyone can see what the issues are and if there's any changes over time in production and so on. So we needed both those parts, and we needed someone who was really focusing on developer experience. So we've launched desktop scans. They've been on the Edge release of desktop for a few weeks, and they are shipping into stable any day now, or possibly by the time you see this, they actually just already shipped, like maybe even yesterday. At the point where we're recording this, they're just an Edge, but we're really just about to go stable. So just download the Edge Docker desktop to try it out, or wait a couple of days.
Okay, so as Justin said, we just launched the desktop version, and Snyk is now embedded into Docker Desktop. So once you have the latest Edge, or if we are already there, the stable version, you will be able to see the new command that was added, which is the Docker scan. All you have to do to get those scans and to actually start securing your images is simply to log in to Docker Hub from your Docker desktop. Once you do that, you're ready to go and start scanning. So how does it work? Once you're logged in and everything is all set, then this is where you can make the magic happen. So we're really happy to introduce the new Docker scan command. You can now scan images directly from Docker Desktop by using a simple yet life-changing, hopefully, command that's called Docker scan. So what does it do? Once you run the Docker scan command together with your image name, it will return you vulnerabilities that are powered by Snyk. Scanning the image at this point is before you even push it to the registry or even put it in production is highly valuable. So you can detect issues before it lands in production. So if you scan, for example, this image that I have here, what you see is basically we identified vulnerabilities. We identified that out of 69 dependencies, we found 11 issues. Oh, sorry. And what you see here is an example for a specific vulnerability that we saw. It comes with a short description of what it means, with a link to get more info about the vulnerability. And it says where it was introduced and how it can be resolved. So in this specific example, we have the OpenSSH client vulnerability that basically allows remote attackers to cause denial of service by sending duplicate requests of a certain type. So in this case, we see that it came from the base image, and in case we will update the base image, this specific vulnerability will be resolved. So why else this command is useful? So of course, we're talking about Docker. Docker is a developer tool, so you don't even have to leave Docker Desktop if you want to scan images. You can do it directly from here. So it's very developer driven. And it doesn't only provide you with a list of vulnerabilities. You also get clear instructions on how to fix them, And you don't need any special knowledge in security to do that. Some more capabilities that come with the new command are base image recommendations. So what we offer is that once you scan your image, you can also specify your Dockerfile that the image was built from. And Snyk will, behind the scenes, pick up the base image that is used in the image, and will basically suggest you with other alternative, better base images. So in this example here, I have my base image is node 10.4, and Snyk detected that and offers me to update to other base images that have lower number of vulnerabilities. So as most of the vulnerabilities come from the base images, many times by only upgrading the base image, you can spare yourself with a lot of high severity vulnerabilities. Another thing you can use the base image recommendations for is to optimize and to better align with Docker best practices. So, for example, you can use the recommendations to use a slim image for your production environment, or another relatively small image when it comes to your dev environment. So this is a really useful tool. This is basically a summary of what Docker Scan can do at the moment. So you can show the dependency tree of your scan result. You can exclude base image vulnerabilities, which means we will only return vulnerabilities that came from user instructions from your Dockerfile. So you'll be able to triage exactly the things that you are responsible for the security issues that you envy yourself and not and weren't from the base image itself. You can use the -- file, which we just talked about, and you can also output the results as JSON. So you can take the results and manipulate it in JSON format to get the exact data that you need. Okay, so let's go to a quick demo. So here I have a Dockerfile that has this specific base image of node 10.4. I have a node application that will also be a part of my image. And I have some user instructions, some commands to install, for example, SQLite 3, and that's it. So in this specific case, I already have the Docker desktop latest version, and I'm already logged into to Docker Hub. Sorry. Yeah, this is what happens when you don't want to waste time. So I've already built an image for this specific demo. So let's grab that. The image was built from the Dockerfile that we just saw. So all I have to do now is just to run the Docker scan command together with my image name and with the Dockerfile that we used to build it. And we can wait for the results once it's there. Okay, so what I'm seeing here is that we picked up the node application that was running on the image. And we detected the vulnerabilities specifically for the node application. So we can identify where it is and go and fix that specifically. We also see the base image recommendation that we just mentioned. So you see that I have 92 high in my specific this base image, and if I upgrade to the next one, it will be only 10 high vulnerabilities. And you can also see all the rest of the image vulnerabilities that we detected. Another thing you can do is to use the exclude base image flag. So the results that will return now will only be the ones that were introduced in your Dockerfile itself. So it won't include the ones that are of the base image, but the ones that were introduced by you, basically. And this way you can also know exactly how to fix that. And so I've already saved the results as JSON to a file called scan results. And in this specific simple JQ that I did here, I've only returned the results that have exploit maturity. That means that there is an exploit somewhere that already uses this code, and only high severity ones. The next thing is that every Docker desktop user has 10 scans to be used for free. But once those scans are over or are used, then the quota for this specific month is ends, basically. So in order to overcome that and get more scans, what you can do is simply to log into Snyk, which is completely free, and you can get, if you sign through Docker Desktop, you can get 200 scans per month, and continue to use the scan capability. So you see here that I've reached my my limit of 10 scans. All I have to do, you can stay in Docker Desktop and just run the Docker scan -- login, which will redirect us to the sign up page in Snyk, where you can easily sign up and basically get all the rest of the Snyk capabilities. Okay, so as I said, I have only the 10 free scans per month. So once that's over, you can either wait for the next month and get another 10 scans, or you can sign up for Snyk. So if you're signing up for Snyk, you don't only get those 200 extra scans, but you also get to enjoy all the rest of Snyk features, which are a lot. So I won't be talking about all of them now, but if we mention a few, so you can include security in your CI/CD. You can use Snyk to secure open source as well, and configuration files, and you can get alerts on new vulnerabilities. So to do that, you can use the docker scan -- login command, which will, as we saw in the demo, lead you to the sign up page. Here you can sign up quickly with your Docker ID or with any other authentication method that suits you, and you can start using Snyk, basically. So once you're in, what else can you do? So if we take a look again at the Dockerfile that we have here, and we install the Snyk command by running the simple npm command, you will be able to start and using other Snyk options and features. So if you play around with it a bit and start scanning the image of this Dockerfile, you can start by continuously monitoring your images. What does that mean? So if you run Snyk container monitor and your image name and Dockerfile, it will automatically create a snapshot of your image. It will be, all the information will be sent to Snyk, and you will be able to view it in the web application that Snyk provides. So for example, here you can see that we detected the node application that we saw before, and the image itself, each one with their own vulnerabilities. So after I have this, I will get from Snyk every X time a cadence that you define. I'll get another scan in the background, and in case new vulnerabilities will be detected, I will also get alerted on that. The next thing is the base image recommendations that we already discussed. So again, if you use the monitor, you can present it in Snyk in a much more visualized way, and you can actually take action and triage and replace the base image itself. Another thing you can do is to actually scan the Dockerfile. So instead of building the image and then scanning the image together with the Dockerfile, you can also scan the Dockerfile prior to building the image. So in this case, what you have to do is to integrate your Git repository, your source code, and what Snyk does in the background, it picks up the Dockerfile and basically presents all the base image vulnerabilities that we have, including the base image recommendations. So you don't even have to build the image. You can first test the Dockerfile for any vulnerability in the base image and fix them. And only once you're feeling secured enough, you can build the image from the updated Dockerfile with less security issues. And also what you can see here is that we also detect configuration files. So this is an example of a Kubernetes deployment YAML. We also detect Terraform, and we surface configuration issues in those files as well.
I also mentioned earlier that what we wanted to do with Snyk was scan images on the desktop and in Docker Hub. And we actually launched scanning in Docker Hub a couple of weeks ago now. So you can now try this out. Docker Hub scanning is available for any of the pro or team accounts in Docker Hub. You just go to your repo and do, you'll see the Snyk logo, and you can do enable scanning and then push your images, and they will get scanned almost immediately afterwards. And you can, the advantage of that is that everyone else in your team can take a look at the scan results as new images get pushed, and they're all it's all integrated in the GUI and in Docker Hub, and you can see what's going on. And there's more integrations coming with that as well, more features coming in the future. But the real idea there is that everyone in your team who's working on the project can have a look at the scan results without having to pull the image and scan it themselves. So if someone wants to check that a particular vulnerability whether it affects your images and things like that, then that's the easy place to go and do it without pulling all the images and scanning them and so on. Here's what you can see when you have the scanning set up in Docker Hub. So you can see there's a nice summary of the vulnerabilities, and then you can go and see the individual details, and then you can go and get more information about them from Snyk directly as well. And so and it's all very straightforward and easy to use, and you can just scroll through and then see prioritized by how severe they are, and you can go and see what the issues you might need to fix are on Docker Hub. So check out that feature now. It's just go and enable it by repo and check it out. It's all there now.
So what else is left to say besides go and try the scan? Yeah. So you can download the latest Docker desktop or go to Docker Hub right now, and you can get security.
Yeah. So it's been really great working with Snyk, and we're really excited about these features, and there'll be more things rolling out with scanning soon, but the basic stuff's all shipped now. So go and try it out, give us feedback, let us know what you'd like, and get scanning. Scan your images.